Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Hughie Fury's comeback in the heavyweight division has continued in a GBM card in Sheffield. He's defeated Christian Thun by decision. Rather strange scorecard. It was an 8-rounder, 78-76. And if you saw that fight, you know that card makes no sense. So it was a referee alone card. 78-76 indicates multiple rounds for Christian Thun in a fight where he soaked up all sorts of punishment and didn't have a lot of success, or certainly nowhere near the amount of success Hughie Fury had. And 78-76 also, it would indicate some even rounds in there. But on my card, I thought Hughie Fury, apart from maybe round 2 where you could make a case for Christian Thun, and even then I still gave that round to Fury. I thought he bossed this one, and especially the second half of the fight, it was all Hughie Fury pretty much all the time. It was getting to a point where Hughie Fury was literally, because Christian Thun, what he was doing even from the outset of the fight, giving up the distance, not using a jab, collapsing into the ropes, laying on the ropes, and just allowing Hughie Fury to tee off on him. And there were points where he was doing this, where Hughie Fury would pause for a split second, half a second, deciding where am I going to throw this punch. And he'd throw it to body, he'd throw it to head. Christian Thun obviously covering up, but he was taking shots around the side of their head, and through the fight obviously a lot of shots to the body, and this was definitely slowing him down. But there was one moment of controversy in the first round, or should I say at the end or after the first round, when the bell went. Hughie Fury did throw a shot, and it was after the bell. I went back after the fight to have a look because they didn't show a replay. He did land a big right hand, and that was the only real moment in the fight where Christian Thun looked buzzed to any real degree. And it was definitely after the bell went. I went back, had a look, and it was a case where he was getting ready to throw the punch. He could have certainly bailed out. Bell goes, and a split second later, he throws it in. It wasn't coming at Thun as the bell went. It was after the bell. Definitely after the bell. But apart from that, what we kind of had was a gradual breakdown of Christian Thun over these 8 rounds. And you could tell Hughie Fury wanted to be aggressive from the outset. This was a different version of Hughie Fury to some of the stinkers that we've seen him in. But Hughie Fury is not blessed with the power of some other heavyweights. So Hughie, so-called Fists of Fury, was really just trying to get work away. He was planting his feet early on in this fight and just going for it. And with Christian Thun, no jab, not a lot of defense apart from the high guard, Hughie Fury was just landing punches at will effectively. At points, you sort of thought it was a little bit you go, I go, where it was be Hughie Fury punching a lot, taking a break, and then Christian Thun would be like, okay, my turn. He did have moments of success, small pockets where he would throw these combinations where it'd be a right hand, left hook, really short hooks, sometimes uppercuts as well. But for a guy who's, 6'8", 6'9", it was a curious fight. I've seen Thun fight before, and certainly his jab has never been his number one weapon, but it was just pretty much non-existent in this fight. And for a guy, and see here on screen, the difference in the height and the reach, it was telling, and he made no use of the height and reach advantages that he had over Hughie Fury. He could have made it a lot harder for Hughie Fury had he been making Hughie Fury pay with that jab, making him walk onto it, making him think twice about coming in, but he would just put up the high guard and allow Hughie Fury right in the front door. So very curious, and I'm not sure really what Christian Thun was thinking or why he sort of changed his fighting style more to this. Effectively, he was trying to fight like a much smaller fighter, and it was mostly inside work. He was trying to throw very short hooks, to the body and head, uppercuts. He was looking for that all night. But as the fight wore on, round 2 was probably his high watermark. The volume of the shots was coming down as Hughie Fury was starting to take the stuffing out of him. Hughie Fury was sitting down on shots and really starting to have, you could see that Thun, his energy, especially through the body shots, he was starting to just slow down, not have as much on his shot, starting to get a little bit slappy with his punches, and there wasn't as much output, and when he was throwing, it was certainly having no real effect on Hughie Fury. You never thought Fury was in any trouble from any of the shots that landed in this fight, and because of what was coming back, and Fury with a good chin, he was willing to accept it and to get his own work away. And I guess that was a feature of this fight. Hughie Fury fought in a way that he would not be able to get away with at a higher level. He was obviously trying to make a statement, trying to really put the hurt on Christian Thun, but because he's not a big puncher, he just couldn't do enough damage to either score a knockdown or take him out. If this had been over maybe 10 or 12 rounds, possibly could have happened, because Christian Thun's arc of energy and output, and certainly the body language, was diminishing with every round. With each passing round, he was looking worse and worse. But he managed to, behind a pretty good camp, he prepared well for this. They were at pains to point out how long he'd prepared for this fight, that he was in good shape, that he'd paid his own way to stay in England longer ahead of this fight. But that preparation obviously helped him here. But we have seen Thun in trouble before in his previous loss to Curtis Harper, who was he's a decent journeyman, but, Thun should have been beating him if he had any real aspirations of getting to that top level. Obviously, he tried to put everything on the line for this fight with his preparations, but his output, the tactics were not on point. It was kind of strange to bizarre, really. But Hughie Fury was trying to impress. And, I like this version of Hughie Fury better than the one that's moving and popping a jab. But maybe it's also that this 30-year-old Hughie Fury can't maintain, that sort of strategy anymore. Maybe the legs aren't what they were. He is coming in and looking heavier these days. But the thing is, there's not a whole much more in terms of power on his punches. So that is going to be an issue at the next level. But overall, Hughie Fury, he gets rounds. This is his third fight in 2024. Previously, he stopped Patrick Court. That was a gimme. And he also fought Konstantin Doboshenko. That was a good 6 rounds from first fight back. Doboshenko, a very durable, hard man journeyman. No one stopping him. Moses Utoma didn't stop him. He's a guy that can give you good rounds. I think Fury, though, maybe a little bit disappointed he couldn't get the stoppage. I mean, he was going for it. He was sitting down on his punches and, giving it everything, trying to get Christian Thun out of there. But I think with all the effort he expended, I think he was starting to get a little bit tired as the fight wore on. But he was bossing these rounds for the most part. There was dedication to body punching. He was slinging in that right hand. And overall, this was a fight that he had very few issues in. And I think the decision in terms of how close it was officially, 78-76, whatever. I mean, that's not reality. You could say it was a one-sided fight for the most part. Hughie Fury, a good winner in this one, and good rounds. I mean, let's face it, after being out of the ring since Christian Hammer in 2021, and he's had illness and injury, all that sort of stuff, he's getting some rounds. But the thing is, with his, the way he's speaking and saying that he wants to be in the big fights, wants to be involved in these Saudi Arabian cards, you probably say that, this is maybe slightly disappointing in terms of the result, that he didn't get a stoppage, and maybe he didn't at least get a knockdown or badly hurt Christian Thun, apart from obviously buzzing him when he hit him after the bell, which, that was an illegal shot. So you do have a case that Hughie Fury wants those big fights, but there's a case to say he does not deserve them at this point. And Fury, from his career, we know that he's been in a situation where he's yo-yoed between top competition and then dropping all the way down. For me, he still needs one more fight to sort of prove and show where he's at, to deserve a bigger fight on a bigger stage. There's a level of opponent that he needs to get through, somewhere between that sort of top 15 to top 30, guys that are going to make him work, that guys that have got ambition, that want to themselves get back to the big show and be on a big card, make big money in a big fight. Potentially guys like a Jermaine Franklin. What about Kevin Lorena? There's a whole slew of guys that you can probably think of. Maybe an FA or Jugba. And with all the promoters being more amenable to working with each other these days, it's possible that that level of matchmaking could occur. You want something we can go, well, this is close to, if not a 50-50. The winner stays on and deserves the right to a bigger fight. I don't think Fury deserves it right now, and based on what we've seen, I mean, it's not like I sort of left that fight going, wow, Hughie Fury is just going straight to the top. It was workmanlike, but his power or lack thereof in terms of a heavyweight with punching power, it was on display again. At a certain level, he's going to struggle to really put a dent in fighters who are much better than Christian Thun. And if he fights the way he did, where basically he was going for broke, a lot of risk, although I prefer this version of Hughie Fury based off what we've seen previously. But, he will get hurt and potentially stopped and dropped if he fights in a similar manner. Because, there's a lot of guys that are not going to fight the same way as Christian Thun. They can really counter and land something hurtful. So it remains to be seen what the what next entails for Hughie Fury. But he gets a win here, third fight in 2024. He's got a bit of momentum. Eddie Hearn was at this show. This card was on DAZN, so a few more eyeballs. Adam Smith, who was on commentary, it kind of felt like it was like Back to the Future moment. Was this 2017 or something like that with Adam Smith on comms? But, it's looking a bit more healthy in terms of the prospects for Hughie Fury, who was 30 years old and looking for an opportunity. And I would also note that this fight, basically on the schedule, was the last fight until, at least on BoxRec at the moment, until the rematch between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, the last fight with any real heavyweight of note, which I think is a really scary prospect. So the next couple of months might be a little bit slow unless some things are getting confirmed. But Hughie Fury, for me, he needs to do more. He needs to prove himself more. And he might say, oh, well, I've done this, that, and the other in the past in my career. But that's all gone. You're off the scene for a few years, and you haven't fought anyone of the caliber or put in a performance that goes, yep, wow, you deserve it. So I think we need to see more. How about you? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.